Previously on Round Sailing, I cleaned out the old hayloft.
I found an old ski.
And Johan built stairs to get up on the loft easier.
I think it's so cool because from up here the boat looks like a whale.
So today I'm on my way to pick up some lead. We have found a source where we can get 4 tons of lead, and a few months back we bought 1 ton, so we already have 1 and we need 5 in total. So that means after I have bought the lead today, we have all the lead that we're going to need for the keel. But it's still a few years before we're going to need it. But as you all know, it's not very likely that the prices are coming down. So when I got this opportunity, I thought, why not get it now? And the price we're getting it for is really good. It's almost the scrap price. So I don't think it will be any cheaper a few years from now. And also it feels nice to have all that sourced already, since getting your hands on 5 tons of lead, it's not very easy. And obviously I can't get 4 tons of lead in the car, so I will store it for now at a friend's place, which is pretty close to where we're getting it from. And yeah, and that friend is actually Johan, for you who has been following us for a while, our rigger who helped us out with the mast for round 2 a few years back. So now we're taking the lead back to Johan's place to put it on a big scale to see how many kilos there are, because I'm paying per kilo. It was a bit less than 4 tons. It came in at 3.6. So in total now we're missing 500 kilos.
For days we've had cranes flying over the farm as they're heading south to warmer places.
Today will be another round of sanding the hull. I need to take down this fairing compound that I put on the other day to fill the gaps and the screw holes. But I'm thinking it will be a bit easier to sand this, since the filler that I've been using in this epoxy now It's a bit lighter or easier to sand compared to the filler we had in the epoxy when we used it as glue for the seams.
This morning when we woke up, it was 1 degree Celsius outside. Cold, but it's really beautiful weather. It's dry and no wind today, but I'm wearing my hat first time. And I'm up on the whale back, as you can see, the bottom of the hull, and sanding the epoxy filler that Johan did last week, I think it was. I think he has taken at least this side of the top sides, and then we'll take the turn of the bilge. So yeah, I'll be up here for a couple of hours, I guess.
So I'm building this rack to put the fiberglass rolls up here on the wall to make it easier to roll it out and cut the lengths that we will need. We'll use it for the peel ply as well. So it's just a simple rack. The initial plan was to have this up on the hayloft, but since we're storing all the fiberglass and later on also the epoxy in here, this room is insulated and heated. I thought maybe it's better to just build the rack in here as well, so we don't have to carry the rolls up to the hayloft. I still haven't decided if we're going to cut more fiberglass than we'll need in one workday, and then place it out up on the hayloft, and to plan where the different pieces are going onto the hull, or if we're going to just cut in the morning or maybe the evening before what we're going to use the next day. That might be the better option, since the humidity level is a bit high up on the hayloft, and that's not very good for the fiberglass. But we'll see. It's starting to come down, the humidity. It's less than 50 right now, and that's actually okay.
Okay, so we're almost finished on this side now. We only have the turn of the bilge left, which Johan will do later because he's taller, so he can reach better. And I will continue on the other side now.
Ja, men vi sätter den där, va?
Ja.
Så då...
Och hur mycket väger den som står här då? Hur mycket mindre väger den?
Ja, men jag har inte bestämt om vi ska ha peel ply på den kanske. Nej. Ja, vi börjar så här.
This type of roll is the heaviest one, and it weighs 51 kilos.
You're up for it? All right.
Okej, vi ska bara så i den.
Yeah. Lägg du på den först.
Okej. This is the 600 grams cloth that we will have 4 layers of on the hull.
On the outside.
So we'll have one of these up here all the time, and we will have some sort of table down here that we can stow away. But when we roll out this to cut the lengths, we will use that table for that.
So as you can see, it's pretty wide, and that's because the peel ply rolls are a bit wider. They are 1.52, so we have room for that as well. So I'm thinking we will have one of those here, and that's it for now.
Let's take the peel ply then.
Yeah, let's try.
Where do we have it?
I have one here.
Yeah. Perfect. Oj, feels like we have like a fabric store.
Almost.
And for this you used scrap pieces that was already here.
Yeah, it's all made from scraps. Even the screws are second hand.
Great, recycling.
Yeah.
So on to building that table.
Yeah, some sort of table. I found these hinges. Some old stuff from some boat I owned in the past. So I think I will use that like that, so we can lift the table up just a little bit like that when we're not using it, so we can have so we can store the other fiberglass underneath the table.
Because the epoxy barrels will be standing in this corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Good,
So
good.
everything about the lamination and epoxy, fiberglass and everything will be in here.
Johan took one of the plywood sheets that used to be part of the table where we cut out the temporary hull frames.
So the storage room is finished, and we have this cutting table here as well now. And like I said before, we put hinges on it so we can lift it up like this and put that strap on it so we can keep it up there if we want to move around the fiberglass that we have underneath here. Yeah, that's the storage, and we have it's really nice and warm in here and dry, so it's a good room for keeping the fiberglass and the epoxy and all of that. And on this side we have some shelves with all the gear that we're going to use for the lamination. Some safety gear, rollers, buckets, gloves and vacuum equipment. So this was one step further, closer to starting the actual lamination process. It's a bit like painting. A lot of the work is in the preparations, and the better you prepare, the better the outcome will be. So we really try to think everything through now before we start the actual work. So what's left to be done is that we need to close off the area just right next to the boat a bit more, because we want to heat the area where the hull sits. We'll heat that up a bit. So I'm thinking we will create a room within a room with plastic hanging from the roof down to the floor around the hull, and heat that inner room. That will be more efficient than heating the whole barn. And we have both electrical heaters, 18 kilowatts, and we have 30 kilowatts of diesel diesel heat. And I am hoping that will be enough, because as you can imagine, using almost 50 kilowatts of heat is not cheap. So we really hope that the temperatures stay like they are now for a few more weeks. Right now we have 15 degrees Celsius outside, so that's pretty okay, and also pretty low humidity. So I just made this test piece just to see how it falls on the hull. Since the circumference of the hull changes over its length, it's shorter over here compared to over here. That's why the cloth is hanging at an angle like this. And I need to know that so I can mark it on the hull. And that will change over the length of the hull, since at the midsection it will be more or less the same at both ends, but here at the stern it changes quite a lot in the beginning. Yeah, first I thought it was a really good idea to put the cloth in the lengthwise direction of the hull, especially on the freeboard, since it's a pretty flat area. It would be easy to get the cloth to conform to that shape of the hull. But the problem is that it's pretty hard to get it to stay there. This way it's easier, so because it hangs down, you can just put some staples up there and it will hang in the correct position. So I'm thinking this will be easier, even if there will be more overlaps. But we would have had to have overlaps even if we had gone along lengthwise, since you can't have the whole length of the hull in one go. That will be too much cloth to deal with. So I think this is best. And like I said before, we're going to use 4 layers of this cloth on the outside of the hull. And we don't want to stack the joints. So to prevent that, we're going to cut the first piece in 4 different widths, so that no joint is sitting on top of another one. Also, we will have an overlap at the midsection, so there will be more glass at the bottom of the hull. So now it's really time to start cleaning up the barn a bit more and putting up those plastic walls in here, and prepare the last things for the lamination. So thanks a lot for watching this week's episode. I hope you liked it. And if you would like to support our production, you could head over to our Patreon page. And as always, a big thank you to all of our patrons. See you next week. Bye-bye.